Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's Trade of the Day. It's the Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and got a few regulars, a couple new people. I'd like to see that mix. And we'll get started by going to the charts. We'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and then go from there. So I'll share my screen. And you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin chart.
Okay.
5 minute.
And is this trading view that we're looking at?
Yes, it is. We're looking at trading view. Most traders have this. There are some competitors as well, but you know, you can get a free trading view account, tradingview.com. I think if you're serious about trading, you should at least upgrade one level to the $15 a month version. I think that's the pro version. I'm one above that, pro plus. So and I like alerts, so I've got 30, 40 alerts a day pretty much. So anyway, so we're on the 4-hour chart, and Bitcoin has been mostly following this trend line that I've got here since mid-October, the last month or so. A few dips below it, a few bounces above. So it's mostly higher lows and higher highs. That's what we like to see. So with this in mind, I would anticipate a bounce off this this trend line, and then for it to go beyond the 68.5 and maybe even push through 70 sometime over the weekend or early next week. Of course, there are some, there's some news about things in the stock market and things, in the overall world economy that could bleed over into, into Bitcoin, because when people are afraid, they tend to run to cash. And now that a lot of investors and institutions own crypto, they'll probably dump that the first weakness in the economy and run back to cash. So that could affect Bitcoin's price. All right, so that's my quick analysis on Bitcoin. Let's check out Aetherium. And go to the 4-hour chart. And kind of similar. It's been riding this trend line actually longer than Bitcoin. This one goes back the end of September. And it's the same thing. It's mostly higher lows and higher highs. We had actually I need to update this. We had the all-time high a couple days ago at around 4,860. And but did test the trend line earlier this morning and bounced off, and it's working its way up. Very curious to see what happens with this over the weekend, if it follows the same pattern, or if we're due for a big crash or maybe a big pump. But currently it's in a trend of higher highs and higher lows, so that's generally bullish. Okay, any questions or comments about the overall crypto market before we move to Altcoin Alert? All right, let's check out Altcoin Alert. I've got the AA score here. It's sorted by that at the moment. For some of you new folks, I like this view here. I don't like easy mode. I want to see all the information. So I turn easy mode off and I go to Altcoin Radar. And this is how things used to look before they made these, these smaller, get to the point kind of views. And these are fine, but I want to see the big picture. So sort by AA score, and we got something interesting here, a 100 score on TRAC. Now, this one's on Coinbase Pro. I traded it on Wednesday, did pretty well with it. Let's check it out. So TRAC. All right, we'll start with the day. And as you can see, the Coinbase Pro listing was recent on November 2nd. So we don't have much history. When you see the situation, it's a good idea to go and try to find it on a different exchange where has some more history. So I'm gonna look at the Bittrex. Tether would have more volume. Yeah, it looks like it does. So this is the day chart for TRAC on Bittrex, and you can see it goes, way back. Let's look at the week chart. Yeah, the Bittrex chart goes back to the June 15th of last year. So quite a bit of history. Started around 6 cents, had a big pump in March of this year at 86 cents, a drop, and then exploded with the Coinbase listing. But what I wanted to point out though is that it never got beyond $1 until it made Coinbase. So a lot of this pump has to do with the Coinbase listing. So the question is it going to drop all the way back down here to $1? That's my concern with trading this again. I put a low buy order in it a few days ago and that worked out, but I'm not sure if I would do that again. Might be pushing my luck. On the hour chart, we got, yeah, and this is what I caught. Well, no, I didn't. I caught this move here. But I don't know if it's going to get back to this, $2.99, $3 level where it was last week. Unlike what we just looked at with Ethereum and Bitcoin, we've got lower highs and lower lows in the last week. Here we got, see, that's trending down. This is trending down, descending channel. Something with more history, this could be bullish, but a lot of this could be as a result of the Coinbase listing. Now, if you want to take a chance on this, the 100 score is hard to ignore, but it's not clear to me whether that 100 score has to do with the Coinbase listing or the coin's overall performance, including the past, where it started on Bittrex. There's some really strong support here at $1.70 on the 1 hour chart. I think that's where I would try to get this if I was going to trade it. Let's go to the 5 minute. Okay, I'm going to get over to the Coinbase chart. Yeah, here it's around $1.66, $1.68. I think I would put a low buy order in right around here and try to catch this in a retrace. $1.88 doesn't, even if you caught it down here on the 5 minute chart, 4% to the SMA line is not bad. The SMA line's this red line here between the Bollinger Bands. But I don't see, a dip sequence here. I don't see strong candle action pushing them above the SMA line, sitting on the SMA line now, where I don't like to buy, kind of in limbo at this point. A lot of people use the SMA line as support and resistance, so not my favorite place to buy. You see a strong move above this, might catch a trend trade back to, you've got some resistance here at 1%, some more here at about 2.8%, and some more here at about 4.4%. Obviously, the longer you hold these trades, the riskier it is. But yeah, I would, let's look at the 15-minute chart and see if we've got some better history. Well, $1.88, 89. Yeah, that's probably the first one I'd want to be. And then I'd maybe go in half my usual amount and then be ready to buy again around 170, where I showed you on the 1 hour chart. And so you have buys at 189 and 170, and hopefully it comes back to roughly where it is now. So in that scenario, that would be a pretty good day trade. It might take a couple days, but what the AA score is telling us is, it thinks that TRAC has a 100% chance in the next 3 in the next 72 hours to get 3% or higher. So with that in mind, that's where I would want to be on an entry point. I don't like where it is right now, though. Okay, any questions on TRAC before we look at another coin?
It might be interesting if we could revisit this coin on like Monday or Friday of next week
Okay.
to, just see our theory that we were discussing, I think last time, about these initial coin offerings that they pump, then they dip, and then there's the second pump. And maybe we could see if this one happens to follow that trend at all.
Yeah. But I don't know if this is a good candidate for that because maybe I wasn't clear. What I was talking about before is that, we get this pump, then it drops, then it pumps again. This scenario right here, is really what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're obviously pretty far past that, but it is kind of interesting that we've had a sort of a mini pump a couple days later. But whether
Right.
it can do that again, I'm not sure. I think it's less than probable, but anything can happen in crypto. If it gets a partnership or some other tokens in its class pump up, that would have some effect on it. All
Hey,
right.
CJ,
Yeah.
when you say you put in a buy order, every order, from the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, and that's what I'm asking for clarity on, is every buy order you put in, that locks up some of your funds, doesn't it?
That's true. Yeah, when you put a low buy order in, on a limit order, then that takes those funds out of circulation. So that's part of the money management you have to do as a trader. Because, I came across this, I had 3 or 4 low buy orders in earlier this week and I wanted to make another one and I couldn't because I was using an account that it's my Coinbase Pro and I usually do my swing trades out of, and I had to cancel one of the trades to do the one I wanted. That just goes with what Craig says. When you put a low buy order in, that does tie up those funds until you either have it filled or get it canceled or cancel yourself.
Yeah, I've run into that a lot. What I've attempted to start doing now that I'm using alerts more is the ones that I take off of iCoin Pro for that reason, I move them onto an alert in TradingView so they're not forgotten about for me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've been using alerts more for entries as well, for that very reason. That way your money is not tied up. And also, you can reevaluate the market. You may not want to take that trade an hour or two from when you first set the low buy order because the market's plunging. You're catching a falling knife. So low buy orders can be a bit risky in that regard. But I tend to do them when I know I'm going to be away from my computer and I feel pretty confident it's a good entry. And they work out for me when they're filled probably 3/4 of the time, and probably the other quarter I have to do a ladder buy and tie up more funds, but hey, that's okay. All right, any more questions on that one before we move on to another coin? All right, thanks guys, good stuff. Okay, the next one here, Lena, I'm gonna skip. It's on a couple exchanges I don't trade on anymore. Let's look at Atom. So got 88.7, still a really good score, very bullish. And again, I'm unconcerned with these other columns when I'm looking at the AA score, because the AA score is trying to predict a comeback. I expect these columns to be bad. I expect to be bearish and thumbs down and, and negative because, AA is trying to predict that this one's coming back. So let's look at Atom. All right, let's check out the day chart, get the big picture. Okay, we had the all-time highs in September, almost made it again in October of over $40. Since then, we dropped to about 30, up to 32 now. On the hour, we had a pretty big dip on Wednesday. I think everything dipped during this time. A lot have come back. Atom, not quite yet. So we've got at least a couple days of support or of resistance up here around 36. So got a little room to move. Let's see if we can find something shorter term. Yeah, on the 5-minute chart, it's kind of like TRAC. It's just hanging around the SMA line. Don't like that as an entry. Here's something I'd be more interested in. This is a 1, 2, 3 dip here. And most of you guys, if you're on the show, you should have seen that video by iCoin Pro and some of my other videos where I talk about the 1, 2, 3 dip. It's my favorite strategy. It's really easy. You can see here we've got a bump, we've got a squeeze, and then it's bubbling out. It's not a huge bubble. I'd rather see a bigger bubble like this, but that's close enough for our purposes. Some traders don't count this first dip. It's your call, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4 dips. So if we don't count this one, we've got 3. 1, 2, 3. And usually I'm looking for a evidence of recovery. You got a strong green candle here, so I'd probably get in around here. Up to the SMA lines, right? A little over 2%. That coincides with some resistance here. So 2%, if you stack up enough of those, do 4 or 5 of those a day, you can move your balance pretty quickly. And then we've got more resistance here, 3.5%, and then some more up here at 5.6%. So depending on your risk tolerance, those are the 3 exits I would see had we gotten in here. So obviously we're not there now. And if you want to trade this now, I would set an alert like Robert described, probably down here. Try to catch it at around $30.50, maybe $30.75, and then ride this back. I often choose the middle when I'm faced with 3 obvious resistance lines. I'll choose the middle one, like the resistance I'm seeing now. It's here. Here. And here. Stretch that over a little bit. So with that in mind, I would probably choose this middle one. So my goal on this, on Atom, would be to catch it down here, about 30.75, ride it to the middle. That gives me 4.2%. I love that as a day trader. So any questions on Atom? All right. Look at one more. Let's do some other sorts. We've looked at a couple AA scores. One sort we like to do is a social activity sort, because we frequently get these values here. Christine and I were talking about the long-term or the elder impulse. In some, John from our group likes this sort. Alan from our group likes the elder impulse sort. So these are a couple I do from time to time when I don't find what I'm looking for in the AA score or the SIG devs. And yeah, so on here we've got WAXP, W-A-X-P. I've never heard of this, but here's how I would evaluate this. I'm looking for, bullish and bullish on the long-term sentiment, elder impulse daily. I've got those. Trading activity, I'd like to see a better value than normal, but it is up 20%, so that's pretty good. Neutral or better on AA score, and it's up 8% today, so that's not too much. It's not played out, so makes me intrigued about WAXP. I've never heard of this. Let's see where it's listed. It's on Bitfinex. I don't really trade this one, but we'll look at it. Okay, day chart. It looks like it's at an all-time high, which makes me even less interested. There's the original listing. back in December 17, way back. Yeah, I'm on the week chart. It's really been, you know, since August, it's starting to have some movement. Yeah. Yeah, you're in uncharted territory here. As a day trader, I'm not comfortable with trading all-time highs. I want to see like a dip and then a return. That's my favorite way to trade. Doesn't mean you can't do this. It's just know that it's riskier. I have discussed the Fibonacci extension tool before, but even that's speculation as to where this thing's going to go. To be candid, I'm just not comfortable with this where it is now. I'd probably set an alert down here around 49 cents. You know, to the current bottom of the Bollinger Band, it's 9%. That's an outstanding day trade. You know, the current SMA line is almost 13%. So that would be great if it dropped back there and then retraced back up. That's the kind of thing I would be looking for on this one. Any questions on wax? All right. So that's the social activity sort. Let's look at Tomo. This is one I've traded before. It has better volume. Yeah, and I should have pointed out, I wouldn't trade this because the volume is not very good. I mean, you can look up volume. Unfortunately, the trading volume statistics aren't very good, but you can look at CoinMarketCap and some other sources. But an easier way to see this is just when you look at the 5-minute chart, you see a lot of horizontal lines. That means no one made a trade in that time frame, and that means not many people are trading it. So anyway, let's check out Tomo. I think that's on my list. Yeah. All right, day chart, get the big picture. Had a big pump in September, big crash. It has been trending up a little up into earlier this month, and then dropped on the day chart. On the hour, yeah, had that drop on Wednesday. Had mostly lower highs on the hour chart, so that's a concern. But some pretty good retraces though. So see if we can find a good entry here. No, it's SMA City today, kids. This one's at least a little bit, at least on the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and a very squeezy looking Bollinger Bands. We've got less, you know, we've got 1.2%. That's very squeezy. I'm looking for usually 3% or more. You know, we need volatility. We need price action as day traders. This isn't helpful. So again, we go to our low buy, our alert. We've got some support down here. 246. So we were here earlier this morning in the wee hours, touched it again around 9:45 Pacific. So I'm Mountain Time now. So if you caught that and it came back to where it is now, you know, 4.5%, that's a good day trade. So it's mostly setting a low-ish type alerts to get better entry points today. Unfortunately, we don't have any trades yet that I would suggest taking. That would also be reasonable to set a higher alert. You've got some more support here. It's more recent than this. At 248, slightly more likely to get in at that level. Yeah, it wouldn't be too awful to get in right about here. 252. Try to ride that up to this resistance here, about 3%, not bad. We're nowhere near an all-time high, so this coin does have room to move. All right, any questions on Tomo? Yeah, most of these look the same today. That's a little frustrating. Let's do another sort. Let's go with Elder Impulse Daily. Let's go hourly, actually. Let's do that because they're all bullish on the daily. Okay. Decentraland has been in the news a lot lately, Mana, but it's already up 17.5% today. Crypto.com traded this on a SIGDEV. Did okay with that. Thumbs down on trading and social. It's a little discouraging. We're bullish on the AA, not bad. When I'm looking at, when I'm sorting by a column, I'm taking all the information into account. When I'm sorting by the AA score, I'm more interested in just the AA score. When we do these kind of sorts, we're looking for a trend. We're trying to catch a trend and ride it for, a few percent. On the AA score trades, in the sorts, we're looking to catch something that's recovering. So that's the distinction I make between those. All right, this is a little higher than I would like, but I've had success with this one before, so let's check it out. Mana. Okay, that's the perpetual contract. That shouldn't be in here. Look at Coinbase. All right. We hit an all-time high with Mana, up to nearly $5 at the end of October. Pretty big drop. It's surging again, so that's intriguing. On the hour, earlier today we hit 345, now it's down. Then it dropped down to $3 and up to 321. This one's crazy volatile. Still sitting on the SMA line though. I would be willing, if we got some candle action up here to catch a trend, right about to maybe up here, 3%. Some more resistance here around 6%. So that's intriguing. If this trade may happen soon, like in the next few minutes. You got 2 green candles, but it's sitting on the SMA line. If it punches through, I might be willing to do that. I'd probably go in with half my usual amount in case it, did a U-turn and crashed. Then I'd do another buy down in here around 275 or so. So you could buy it here around 325 or so if it's trending up. Then set another alert for a ladder buy. I like to do my ladder buys between about 5 and 10%. So we got a little bit of support here at 302. I'd probably do like 301. I'd set an alert there and make another purchase for the same amount as my initial purchase. So let's say I buy here at 325 and it goes against me. I buy again at 301. Doing a quick ladder buy discussion here. So let's say I buy here at about 325. Buy again here at 301. Hopefully it bounces back and returns to my initial purchase. My first purchase breaks even. Then my second purchase, makes 7.5%. So, that's a 3.25% between the two trades. That's a pretty good day trade. So any questions on Mana? All right, let's do one more sort on Altcoin Alert, and then we'll just throw it open for whatever crypto things you guys want to talk about. Let's do a short-term sentiment. This is what's happening on the street, what's going on with Twitter. And you'll tend to get some of the more obscure coins with this sort. Got very bullish on Decred and LivePeer. I've heard of LivePeer, never traded it. Decred, never heard of that one. Sushi's fifth. That's a little intriguing. It's very bullish on long term, bullish on. It just dropped. So I kind of like the numbers I'm seeing on Sushi. Bearish on the hourly impulse, not so much. Neutral on the AA score. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's look at Sushi. I think I'm still stuck in a Sushi trade, so. Big picture on the day. Got on the day chart, we're getting lower highs. And on the kind of squeezing together here. We have retrace potential, to anywhere between 15 and $20. So I like that because it's only at 10.90 at the moment. But on the hour, it's been kind of trending down mostly. Mostly lower highs, mostly lower lows. I don't like that. In the 5 minute, kind of looks like the others. I don't want to buy this up here. Hanging around the SMA line, super squeezy. The Bollinger Bands. That's 1.2%. I want to see something more like this. 4.5%. That shows us there's more room to move. So again, I go with a low buy order for making a new position here. Right around 1065. Ride that back up. Try to get at least 3% on it, but I think there's some better opportunities we've looked at than this, so I probably wouldn't do this trade at the moment.
CJ, can you explain the money factor indicator, just how that works?
Yeah, money factor indicator, the MFI, is something I have on a lot of my charts, and most of you guys are familiar with. If you went through the iCoin Pro training, you've probably heard of the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, and the MACD, which is moving average, convergence, divergence. These are all lagging indicators. Money factor shows money flowing in and out of the coin. So it's just another tool in my arsenal I like to use. It's a little slower than the RSI, but if I see what I like on, if I see candle action, I use it more for trends, somewhat for recoveries. If the money factor is recovering, if it drops below 20 and starts to come back up, as you can see here, it does go up a little bit on a 5 minute chart, about 1%. Then it drops, but this is a lagging indicator, so the drop doesn't show right away. The RSI tends to be a little faster, but if I'm looking for, something to confirm, confirmation to confirm the candle action and the RSI and the MACD, then MFI is what I look at. But I mostly trade on the 5 minute chart off price action and 1, 2, 3 dip and Bollinger Bands, and these are secondary. But I have had some success in the past. I made videos about them of setting alerts on the RSI. I've been doing that more with the MFI, but it's not as, I haven't done it nearly as much as I have in the RSI, so I haven't done any videos about it, but I do like it as a confirmation indicator. Does that answer your question, Craig?
Yeah, cool, thanks.
All right. I know Terry in our group has been using it too, so and he's the best chart trader I know. So all right. I'll just throw it open to, you guys want to do any more sorts on Altcoin Alert or look at specific coins? Where do you want to go from here?
Hey, CJ,
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at Verge XD. Would you take a quick look at that one?
You broke up a little bit. What's the ticker for it?
XDG,
Yeah.
Verge.
Yeah, this one's on the Altcoin Alert list quite a bit. That's a funky looking chart. Let's look at the day. All right, had big pumps back in May. Looked like
What do you
recovery in
think about
August.
those? What do you think about all those long wicks up and down?
Sign of volatility usually. Let's see what kind of volume we have on this. Well, on 1 hour. Has been moving up. So, I mean, we could retrace yesterday at 10 PM is at almost 4 cents. It's 3.4 now. The 5 minute. Oliver, are you in this now and you're looking to see where it's
No,
gonna
I
go, or are
haven't.
you thinking about it?
I was just, actually, CJ, my experience so far with AA alerts has not been good. And I'm so glad you let me in on this call so I can learn.
Okay. Yeah, and guys, AA is an informational tool. It's one of several that I use. I sort of cheated when I got this because I'd already had 9 months of day trading experience and training before I got AA. So when I saw this as an information tool, I just applied it to how I was already trading. But most people in the CryptNation aren't day traders, so that's why I try to show you guys, okay, this is how I use it. Don't just go in there blindly with with an alert from Altcoin Alert. But anyway, I actually
Well, we're
traded
all
it that way
learning.
for a while
Yeah.
and had some success, but then the market changed and I had to be more diligent in my charting. So okay, back to Verge. It's like the others we've looked at today. It's hanging around the SMA line. We've got some support down here. This is where I'd want to buy it. Probably around 3 cents, 3.1, 3.2 cents in this range here. And, it's a pretty good chance over the weekend it'll drop some. We tend to have drops on the weekends due to lower volume. So, I like buying it at 3.2 cents, coming back to I forgot what this is. I think it's a 200 EMA. That can use that as as an exit. You got some resistance here. Get right around 3.3 cents. That would be a 6% profit. Really good day trade. A lot of resistance up here. Might be tempted to hold it and try to get 12 to 13 cents. So I kind of like it, Oliver, from what I see so far. I don't like it up here, but I like it down here.
Well, last week I traded some mana,
Uh-huh.
and of course I watched all the trading videos, and they talked about setting stop limits, and of course my stop limit on the low end took me out of the trade, unfortunately, because if I had held it all this time I would have been okay. So that brings me to my question: is what is your stop limit philosophy?
My stop limit is I don't use them very often.
Okay.
And this puts me in direct contradiction with most of the traders in CryptNation. Because when I learned day trading, I learned, and you've heard it a few times already, is ladder buying. It's when you ladder in, you make additional purchases at a lower level with the same or more amount of the coin that you bought the first time. So
I see. So that's where I messed up, because my stop took me out of mana. If I, like you said, if I stayed in it this past week, I would have had a nice gain.
there are pluses and minuses to my approach, though. You need to be aware of them. So
I understand. I just.
Yeah, Terry, who I mentioned before, vehemently disagrees with me on this. So he says, do better research and don't get stopped out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'd rather trade with a small portion of my balance and be ready to make another trade or two if I need to, and then have it come back and get me out. Now, the bull market that we're in is really forgiving in this regard. If we go through a bear market and you try to ladder buy, you're going to be stuck for a while, and
Okay,
have some
that makes-
decisions to make.
That makes sense.
Usually, if it really goes badly, if I'm stuck in something and I'm sitting in it for a month, I'll usually kick it over to if it's inhibiting my ability to trade, I'll sell it and take a loss. If it's not, if I'm sick of looking at it, I'll usually kick it over somewhere where I can stake it. We had the big dump in May. I got caught in, I was in XTZ and I think DOT and Kava. So those three I staked, and I was in three that I don't even remember, and those I sold for losses. So, that's something you have to think of when you do ladder buying. They don't teach this as an exit strategy in CryptNation. What I told you is I'm the only one talking about it. They do teach it as an entry point to ladder in as maybe the price is descending for swing trades and longer term holds. But as an exit strategy, nobody teaches it but me, as far as I know. So if you want to learn more about it, you can do a search through YouTube for Crypto CJ ladder buying, or you can email me and ask for my spreadsheet of all my videos. Patrick and our group put together. I send out an update once a month. I think you just missed the November one. But
Your channel.
yeah, you can search it there and look for ladder buys, and you'll see specific examples. Right now, I mostly just upload the Zooms I do on Mondays and Fridays, but before I was doing these Zooms, I did a lot of 6 to 8 minute videos about trading strategies, and that's where you can find that kind of thing.
Do you day trade Bitcoin by any chance?
I've been doing it lately. Usually, no, not as a spot trade. I do some with Bitcoin and leverage.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Interesting. And one last thing I wanted to mention, and I know I mentioned this to you in an email, CJ. My MetaMask wallet got hacked last weekend.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I have no idea how that happened. I've never, revealed my recovery phrase or shared my addresses, my private key with anybody. It's there one day. I log in Sunday night, and all my Matics are gone. Every one of them. They left me $1.70. Nice.
Yeah, that's awful, Oliver. I'm sorry that happened to you. Unfortunately, that's way outside the scope of my show, because this is a trading show. There are people on the CryptNation group way more qualified than me. I've used MetaMask 10 times maybe, and usually I try to buy something and the Ethereum gas fee is too high and I don't buy it. So that's about my only experience with it, or else
Well, I took the big hit
out
by moving Matic over to the Matic mainnet, thinking I would be doing some swapping there for some of the DeFi. And I was still studying the DeFi when all my Matics disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could help, but I just don't have much knowledge on that.
They should put a 2-factor authentication on MetaMask for withdrawals.
Yeah.
I'm not ever going to use it again.
I don't blame you. Those DeFi apps are the Wild West. I mean, I'm not that comfortable with them. I guess I prefer the exchanges, but they do have a purpose. So
I think one of the lesser known DeFi swap sites somehow hacked into me. That's my feeling.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. And it's been a week now. I have not received nary a word from MetaMask support. I've sent them all the logs and all the JSON files, everything they need to evaluate this. I can see the address that the tokens went to. Of course, that doesn't do me any good. It just shows, they disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I know.
I'm sorry this happened to you, but I do have to move on. So
I know. Thank you.
I got to wrap this up pretty soon.
I just wanted to maybe warn some other people about that.
That is a good heads up, though. You got to be careful on those. MetaMask, Pancake Swap, all those. those DeFi exchanges. So, all right, any other questions or coins you guys want to look at?
Can you look at the STORJ, STORJ?
Okay.
Yeah, I lost on that one too.
Well, I've got money sitting in there and I don't know what to do.
Well, my stop took me out of that one as well.
Well, let's talk about your trade then, Christine. Where did you get in? Do you remember?
About 3 days ago.
3 days ago. So,
And it had come up several times, you know, and we got an alert to it. And I think I kept seeing it. So I was like, okay, let's go for this one.
well, if you got in on, okay, you
it
probably
just
get on
was
the 9th. Did you get on the 9th or 10th? This entry is really good. This one, not so much.
Right.
So which one did you get in? Do you remember?
I got in after the drop.
Okay.
I think actually as it was going down. So I got in a couple times, kind of
Okay.
laddering in
So you're in at like 145 or so?
on average, or no, above that on average. But yeah, I got in as low as.
All right. So we do have.
And I missed that sale, yes.
Yeah, you missed that. Had I bought it down here, I would have looked for a retrace up to around $1.60. So if I bought it, say here at $1.48
Mm-hmm.
to $1.60, 10%. I love 10% trades as a day trader. I don't have the
Okay.
problem of I mean, so many people struggle with, when do I get out? I don't, they can't pull the trigger because they're afraid they lose. I'm the opposite. I want to get out and get that, 5%, 10%. I love that. So, and then if that's the plan, feel good about that, even if it keeps going up. So when you buy something, what was your plan when you got in this? Or are you just kind of winging it?
Kind of winging it because I
Okay.
had keep seeing all of the alerts come by and I'm saying, well, that doesn't look like a good entry. That doesn't look a good time. But I saw all the red candles down and I was kind of waiting and waiting in. And then it just went sideways for a while and I'm not watching it, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't set an exit point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to set an exit or at least an alert. If you
Okay.
set an alert, I've showed you guys, where resistance is. We're on the 15-minute chart now for STORJ. There's some resistance. You would have seen if you were looking at this chart around here. And there's a resistance here. What I mean by resistance is a clump of candles that can't seem to push through a certain area. So we got
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make this bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 10 of them grouped here from 2
Okay.
days ago that are struggling to push through this 163, and then it does, and then it comes back again.
And what chart are you on? Is that a like 4-hour chart or?
No, 15-minute.
Oh, this is a 15-minute chart.
I usually do my entries on a 5-minute chart, but I got the 15-minute open because I want us to see, all the options on one screen. So,
Right.
so this is
So
really more for
what you're
display
saying-
than trading.
Yeah.
But
10 candles on a 15-minute chart or 10 candles on a 5-minute chart would be fine too.
well, that would be really good. You're not going to get as many on a 5-minute chart. And it doesn't have to be 10. It's just a clump.
The clump.
This
Right.
particular, it's not. It's an art more than a science. So,
Right.
um,
Thank you.
so this is one area I would look to get out. If you say you're in at 140 or 150 or what was it?
Yeah. On average about 148 maybe.
All right, 148. It's now trading at 161. Yeah, you're at 9%. And you've been in
Just
for
do
3
it.
days.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty good. So, I would be perfectly comfortable of making a plan to get out at that and then executing that plan and feeling good about it, even if it pumps back up again to, $1.75 or so. But,
Mhm.
essentially what you have now is a swing trade because you've been in a few days. It's not really a day
Yeah.
trade. It's sometimes we have unintentional swing trades when our day trades don't go well. But yours has gone pretty well since you got in a couple positions down here.
Yeah.
So with
And
that
you
in
get out
mind,
100%. You don't leave any money in there.
yes, as a day trader, I'm out with 100%. If
Okay.
you're doing swings or longer term, then you know what Bryce and the guys talk about, taking out portions is more reasonable
Mm.
approach. But
Okay.
I'm only looking for a few percent. And AA is only promising you 3%. So promise might be too strong a word, but that's the goal with the AA scores. So, and you're way beyond that already. So you're looking good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
This is very
Okay.
interesting.
One more question and we'll have to close this up. I've got another webinar coming up and I got to hang out a little bit with my peeps from another
Well,
opportunity.
TJ, I could say my most eye-opening takeaway today is Mana, Store, Digibyte. I got in on all those trades and I set stop limits that took me out. And if I had not done that, I would have made money on every one of them now.
Well,
That's what I've learned today.
Okay, let's explore stop limits though, because most people use them. It's a valid approach. I don't want to be that critical of it. It depends where you set them. Did you set it like 2 or 3%?
30%.
30%?
Yes, sir.
You had a 30% drop?
Yes. They all went down that much.
Oh yeah, we had that big dump here. Well, I feel your pain. I talked about this on a different Zoom I'm on Thursdays, but I was in a leverage position. I went and took a shower in the afternoon after my workout and I came back, I got liquidated because it dropped 15% in 10 minutes and I was in the shower at 10x leverage. So I lost, you know, my entire position. So, you know,
I'm completely scared to do leverage trading.
yeah, well, the point is, I've been trading over 2 years and I made that mistake and the market can move that fast. So you have to be ready for it and plan for it accordingly, whether it's, you know, ladder buying or alerts or some combination of both. For me, I should have set, you know, an alert didn't help me. I had an alert, but it went off when I was in the shower. So, you know, I should have made an additional purchase before I,
take your
anyway.
phone with you in the shower.
Yeah, it's a little more extreme, but there's things you can do to anticipate things like that. So anyway, well, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap this up.
CJ, what's your favorite exchange? Just real quick.
Well, it was Binance with a VPN, and they require KYC now, so I don't use that anymore. I really like KuCoin for spot trading.
Right.
So I do my spot trading. I'm mostly on KuCoin, some on Coinbase Pro, and then I do leverage on Bybit and Femex. So
appreciate
do a
that.
little bit on Coin Metro because Pizza Mine likes it. That's about it. So
it's the U.S. regulators that are keeping us from getting on Binance.
yeah, we don't have time to discuss that, but maybe next time we'll talk about the how the government wants to tell us how to spend our money and make our financial decisions for us. But don't get me started on a libertarian rant.
Well,
all right, you
I'm
guys.
right with you there. That recently passed bill that has precision. You know about the $10,000.
I do, and yeah, we don't want to talk about taxes on here, but you know, email me if you want to. So
I know I won't.
All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording here
you,
and hang around a little bit longer for some of you other folks.
Appreciate it.